Potter's Journal, it is donut day. Today we will be making them out of clay, standard ceramics number 211. But for inspiration, okay, using the pumpkin or squash behind us, a bit of whole wheat and some cinnamon and some, whatever else. We'll go through it. The recipe will be in the link. This was for inspiration. You'll notice they're not glazed. That'll have to be in another video. Okay, let's get at it. Let's see what's happening in the studio today. It's donut day. Hey, I have been reclaiming clay. I usually like to do it a little bit at a time out of the scrap bucket, but somehow it got ahead of me. I am mixing one batch with another. Some a bit harder, some softer, some had a little bit of my sculpture clay streaked through it until it gets all nice and even and consistent. But yeah, nobody's going to subscribe to see me go through that. Okay, my 101 jug series, I am moving on to flask jugs. And I don't know what size they should be, and I probably should try doing them a few different sizes. But, yeah, being a production potter, I am going to weigh this out and do them at 1 1/2 pounds. And why is that? Well, since I said it's kind of like a flask, my candle holders, these were 3/4 pounds. So if we put two together, a top and a bottom, to make a flask jug, okay, 1 1/4, 1 1/2 pounds. I'll try to make a spout out of that too. Whether you try it with clay or with dough, making donuts can be satisfying. We're using a bread machine here today. There we go. I will get back to the pottery kick wheel. We didn't use it today. Let's see, milk, egg, butter. But I am not using anything but a machine in the kitchen. Okay, and here's the defining ingredient, the pumpkin that we've been using and have so much of that we may never get rid of it. And there's only so much of it, the squash, I can eat. Okay, and the artist, a couple drops of orange food coloring to make sure they've got that color. So, flour, I have substituted some wheat, and I've cut the sugar, so this is going to be more like fried dough than donuts. Maybe you want to call it health-conscious donuts. You certainly wouldn't call fried dough that. The recipe will be down below. Teaspoon of salt. And this is a risen dough. 1 1/2 on the yeast. You need to do that exact. So we will use the kick wheel again in the kitchen, but nothing aside from the machine in the kitchen. Okay, and we will set this on dough and hit start. And keep on using this pumpkin till it's gone. Okay, so yeah, the 1 1/2 pounds. And it's just like making, or the beginning of it is just like making that candle holder. Okay, centered low and wide. And just like making that chip and dip plate. And just making that bunt pan. Okay, opening this up and going all the way down to the bat. Okay, and all the way down to the bat. And opening this up
to about, yeah, the size of the rib. Okay, cleaning off the bottom there. Okay, give that another even out center, and maybe bring it down a little bit more for the width. Okay, and then, like opening up the chip and dip plate or the bundt pan or the candle holder, I'm trying to leave enough in the center so that the inner wall will come up about twice as high as the outer wall. But it is, at least for me, a bit of a guessing game. A flask is not a production item for me. Okay, so yeah, this is not like making mugs over and over and over again. This is actually, yeah, the first time I've tried this. So, and yeah, it's a matter of forgetting that you're throwing a pot inside of a pot. Try and get all the way down to the bottom and use all the clay. And just bring this up as if it were a little pot. Okay, and then I'm rounding off the bottom for the underside of the flask, and now the outside wall. You have to do the inside first, so because if you did the outside first, it would get in the way. I've used the rib to get under and start rounding off the bottom. I will put these back on the wheel to trim so that they're round on both sides. Okay, I guess sometimes throwing called a donut jug or a circle jug. Here we're going to use the form for flasks. And I didn't bring up the inner wall as much as I like, because it's a little hard to collar the out in. So you really want to do more of bringing up the inner wall. And here, this is when, before we close this off, let's see, how do we get the water out of there, since I should have did that a little sooner. Okay, yeah, there wasn't much in there. Okay, easier to bring the inner out than the outer in, so that's why the inner wall taller than the outer. And just close it off. At some point, there'll be some air trapped inside, so it'll support itself a bit. And make sure that, yeah, you do have a good seal. Okay, and because, I guess if we would have just done this, it might have been difficult, but since we've been working up to it, starting with the candle holder, doing the chip and dip plate, doing the bundt pan, working up to it, surprisingly, once we got here, it didn't seem like that big a deal. So, yeah, just taking it one step at a time. All right. We did it again. All right. There we go.
Okay, so I did add some cinnamon to this dough and some chopped pecans. And we will roll this to about 1 inch thick. And just like in the studio with the clay donuts, okay, I have got a real professional inherited bagel or donut press. So we will just stamp them out. And even before getting to this point, both here and in the studio with the clay, it's important to be thinking how they're going to be decorated and how they're going to be glazed. Here with the donuts, as I said, I might just do them as fried dough without glazing, and we'll call them health-conscious donuts, if there is such a thing. Okay, and to decorate this, we'll use a rib, and just put a little wavy pattern in there, something that'll catch the glaze. Okay, one decoration. And see, some of these we will put a white slip on and a glaze that will show the slip. Okay. And we will do the same thing this time with the rib and that cloud pattern that I do. Okay, let's see. I don't know how this is going to work. I'm used to doing this on the side of a mug. Like, yeah, you've seen me do here on the side of the mug. Let's see if that will work on this too. Okay, well, not quite the same. I'm not sure if I'll keep that or clean it off and try again or try something else. I think we'll just leave that and see what we think yet. Okay, one side till golden brown and then the other. Please comment, subscribe on making pottery donuts and dough donuts too. I can't believe I put this off for so long. A whole table full of, okay, little donut jugs for flasks. Gonna cut these off and trim the bottom. I've got all the little spouts to put them together. When I will go in more detail about how I did this when I do the larger ones. Okay, so place it in the center, and then check that it is in center, a little adjust. And round off the bottom.
And then I've been taking a rib and smoothing, and it's still very soft, even rounding it off a bit yet.
Okay, celebrating 100 subscribers and 10,000 views. If you live close by, stop by for one before they're gone. If not, stop back. We will turn this into a flask. And, okay, the celebration, don't get the wrong idea back there. We're taking a look at the flasks and see what we can do in the next video with these donuts.